Well, good Tuesday morning. It's 5 minutes past 10 o'clock, and we're at 45 degrees right now at the Basin Airport. This morning on KRIM's Community Spotlight, as we do once a month, we're talking with Earlene Tilton about secrets of healthy, happy people. And Earlene, how are you doing today?
I'm so happy to be here, as usual.
It's nice out. I mean,
it's a great
change
day.
Pace outside today, a little bit of winter action going, and all that kind of good stuff.
That's
and
awesome.
You coming over from Young, what was conditions like there?
Actually, I came up from the valley today.
Oh, okay.
I had some activities going on in the valley for the weekend.
So not much heading down that way yet, anyway.
Haven't gone up to the top of the room yet, so we'll see what it looks like.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting. Well, today we got a number of different things we want to talk about. Now, if you're not familiar with it, the first half hour we do here live on the radio, and for the full hour, the first half hour and the second half hour, we're coming to you live on Facebook Live, where we'll also head back into the K-Room kitchen and share with you a few secrets there. But anyway, you first of all, you recently did some online classes.
Right. We really wanted to talk about emotions today.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the things that when I presented some information online to an online class, I just asked, what are some of the emotions that people are experiencing at this time of year? And interestingly enough, the first thing was depression.
Yeah.
And then it came in loneliness and grief. And I'm going, oh my gosh, there's a lot of, to me, this is such a season of joy and cheer and peace. And to some people, it's depression and grief and pain. And, I know that many of us go through a lot of different circumstances. We've got life experiences and changes and things that are going on in our world every day.
Mm-hmm.
But this is Christmas time, and so what we really want to focus today on is how to really bring more joy and cheer and love to this Christmas season.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I think maybe we have these subconscious expectations of what Christmas is supposed to be like or whatever, and we're not rising to that occasion. A lot of different things, or maybe, family members that are gone or, whatever that can be causing us to kind of look at the doom and gloom sort of thing. But this is a time of year to be focused on, the reason for the season.
Well, and I think it's important, and it was a good eye-opener for me, for people to respond that way. It's like, what can I do to bring more joy and cheer to the world that is grieving? There's a lot of people grieving at this time of year, more than any time.
Sure.
In history, we've got a lot of grief and pain going on. And so what can we do?
Well, and, of course, depends on what we want to focus on, too. There's an awful lot of things we take for granted, or at least I take for granted. And
Absolutely.
So, it depends on what we want to focus on. So where do we start?
So definitely, that is exactly right. It's what do we focus on? To me, the first thing is, I always say, if we lump these all together as far as holidays, the first holiday is really Thanksgiving, and where we really go more into this feeling of gratitude and being grateful for what we have. And I think it's such a great, good precursor to Christmas, because if we go into Christmas with this feeling of gratitude, we feel so much better about the season. So in talking about this, I remember just not too long ago, I listened to a presenter, and he was talking about gratitude, and he said he sat down to his dinner plate, and he said he started looking at, like him, he was expressing, we also give thanks before we eat. And he was saying, I was starting to think of, all the people that had a part in putting this plate of food on the table.
Hmm.
He didn't really say what it was, but he says, I'm talking about the seed producers, the farmers, the fertilizers, the waterers, the truckers, the
grocery store personnel.
All of the managers and
Right.
the cashiers, and even the electricity, and all of the things that went into just this one plate of food. He says, I was overwhelmed that it's literally hundreds and thousands of people have brought this food to my table for me to enjoy. And I thought, wow, we sit down and we say thanks, or we do.
Sure.
And how many people have really taken a part of this one meal that you sit down
just
to.
the meal, let alone everything else in our lives. But yeah,
Everything that we look at.
that's great perspective.
It was a great perspective, and I thought, wow, just being more grateful, not for just the food on the table, but for really all the people that had a part of that. And just recognizing that is just a form of gratitude. So
That's
just
perfect.
being more grateful.
A great start with perspective, just in how we look at it.
Yeah.
Where do we go from here?
Okay, so secondly is recognizing that Christ really is the reason for the season.
Amen.
I mean, to me, this is where joy, love, and peace comes. And there's a scripture, John 14, but there's one of the scriptures that says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth, give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid." And I thought, there's so many troubled hearts
Oh man.
in today's world. There's so many people that are fearful and afraid of what's going to happen. And I thought, if we really turn our hearts to Christ, then we feel that joy, love, and peace. And I encourage people to do that, not just for themselves, but for their families and for those around us. We need peace right now. And that starts from within. That starts from in our hearts.
And I think if we took time to know that, the people all around us might be going through stuff that we don't know anything about, it just makes sense to have a little bit of compassion and more of a peaceful, loving attitude as we go into the season.
Right, and if we focus more on the nativity and really the birth, the mission, the life of Christ, I think we all feel better. We just feel better. It's in our hearts.
Sure.
So focusing on the reason for the season. So third is to serve someone. Find someone to serve. And I have found that, if you look at starting, your heart with gratitude and focusing on the reason for the season, it's so much easier to serve. And especially when we feel this, all the challenges or the emotions that we may feel at this time of year or any time of year, if we really focus on serving others, it is life-changing.
Well, and you bring up an interesting point. I remember when my kids were little. This was back in the dark ages, but we would go on Christmas morning to the nursing homes here in Payson and just go around and just say Merry Christmas and talk to people a little bit. And so many people had no one there that you really felt like you were making a positive impact. Other times that were really heart-rendering was when someone thought, maybe because they have dementia or whatever, they thought you were one of their relatives or whatever. And my kids have talked about that ever since, and this has been a lot. My kids are like 40 years old now, but they talked about the impact that it had on them at an early age. And the point finally is that looking outside of yourself and what you can do to help serve or help someone else through the holiday season is you can't be a blessing without being blessed in the process.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I like that thought. Yes. And I have similar experiences to share. Actually, when my children were young, I would usually call the school and I said, "Is there a family in need?" And sometimes it'd take a few days for them to get back to me, but they would give me the name of a family and we'd find out what some of the needs were. Sometimes we would make a quilt for these people. We would take them socks, maybe jackets, or I remember one time we took, food and even a whole turkey one time. And we would drop it off there. I remember my daughter one time, she came in one day and she says, "I can hardly wait for Christmas. I can hardly wait for Christmas." And I said, "Why? Why do you want Christmas to be here?" And she says, "I can hardly wait to see the faces of the family who we give to." And I'm going, oh my gosh, that just filled my heart.
Yeah.
She really enjoyed that experience. So what I've done with my grandchildren these last few years is there's been a senior care center that we've typically gone to. They dress up and do the nativity. We go in and we sing songs, kind of have a little script to go. It just fills their hearts, just like you're saying. And there's something to really being able to get beyond yourself. Two of my daughters have actually taken their kids to serve at soup kitchens for the homeless, and man, that isn't ever life-changing for kids.
Yeah.
They really enjoy that.
Well, and it helps with that perspective of making us stop for a second and realize that, wow, I do have a lot to be thankful for. And instead of always thinking about, what do I get out of this, looking at what do other people get, it changes the whole Christmas season for you. It changes life.
It does, and I found even on a smaller scale, just smile, just talk to people, compliment people. I think right now at this time, people are hustling and bustling around.
Mm-hmm.
If you can just compliment somebody when you're standing in a line or something, beautiful sweater, cute child, or whatever. One of the things that I try to do, being a mom is difficult. And I remember as a young mom, a cart full of kids, or they're hanging on the side of the cart and going around the grocery store, and it's hard for them to all be behaving at the same time. And they're loud, and they knock things over and whatever. And I have found that I like to be very respectful and compliment moms. Have you ever thought of really what they're going through?
True.
It is difficult to be a mom.
Oh, yeah.
And I like to compliment moms when I see them having a tough time and saying, you know what, it's really okay to let your children be children. There's some moms that don't parent very well, but I think good part of the moms really do try to do a good job, and they need our encouragement. Encourage them. Don't get after them, but compliment the children, talk to the mom, let them know they're doing okay. And just talking to people. So
well, and you mentioned, I looked through your talking notes too, and you mentioned the importance of just giving to worthy causes around Marin Country.
Right.
Matter of fact, we just had the head of the Payson Senior Center here on the air with us yesterday, and boy, I mean, all the wonderful things that they do with the Meals on Wheels and everything else. Man, if there was ever a group that deserved everybody's support, in my opinion, that'd be a great one.
I actually listened to that segment, and I thought it was awesome. And I thought, yeah, if you have any time, I thought maybe pay it forward, because you and I, we're getting up there in age. Maybe it's going to be one of us.
Tell me about it. Yeah.
So really, if we can pay it forward and maybe donate anything to the Payson Senior Center, I think that that's such a great thing, because it really helps, like you said, the Meals on Wheels, get them transportation, just have friendship. But we have several other organizations in town that are really in need of some help. I mean, if you go back to basics, they have an angel tree, and I'm sure around town there's other angel trees that you can buy gifts for. But we've also got, what's it called, the Timeout Transitional Housing for women. And they're really in need of things like, and you may want to write this down if you're our listeners, like toilet paper, paper towel, shampoo, conditioner, toothpaste, toothbrush, hand soap, laundry soap, all of those areas. I mean, you can gather some things together, one or several things, take it to the Timeout thrift store right there by Bash's, and they will get that to the shelter. So that's another great opportunity to serve. We have the Payson Community Kids.
Oh, that's another great cause. Yeah.
It is, because
making a big difference in people's lives.
Many of our children are on the street without that center, and this is a way that we can support our children and hopefully help keep them out of all the dangers that are out there for children. So there really is a lot of great places that we can support, especially at this time of year. So just open your eyes and see what you can do.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be big dollar gifts or anything. I mean, certainly if you can afford that, that's great. But there's a lot of things that we can, just show that love and kindness to someone else with stuff that we can even make.
Right. And that's the fourth area. I just feel like creating gifts that you can really support and uplift people. Now, I know that many times people just feel, pressured to go out and spend all this money for gifts, and where the best gifts are really homemade and they really come from the heart. And I feel like right now we can either contribute to the problem or be a solution. So to me, contributing to the problem is spending lots of money on things that really aren't that meaningful and that maybe we're gonna go in the trash next week. Or we can really put our money into serving others and then creating gifts that come from the heart that really uplift and support people. And that's where I love the essential oils. I love the ability to be able to create things like mood and body oils. It's something you can put by a bathroom sink, and after you wash your hands, just put on a little bit of mood and body oil that not only nourishes your dry hands during the winter, but it's very uplifting, it's stress reducing.
I love it.
And people really like that. Bath salts are good. There's room spritzers. There's a lot of different things that can be really good for calming, distressing, uplifting. Just put a smile on somebody's face. And then of course we've got lots of great goodies that are healthy. And I always say, why not, if you're going to give something that's really on a healthier nature, especially at this time of year, that can build their immune system, not deplete your immune system, because most of what's out there is just sabotaging your immune system. All the sugar stuff, all the drinks and stuff. There's great healthy foods that people love, and they're tasty, and we'll taste some of those in the kitchen.
Gotta love, sweets that are also good for you. So there's a lot of different things that you can do, and when you start talking about making gifts for somebody, a lot of times, obviously depending on what it is, I mean, these are gifts that people hang on to for years just because so much thought and love went into it, rather than pulling something off the shelf at the store. I think that's a great little piece of perspective.
I think so too, especially even just like a mood and body oil by your sink.
Mm-hmm.
You won't help but think of the person that gave it to you every time you use it.
There you go.
And so why not do something that, really is a gift from your heart, and really think about what people's needs are. Not just buy things, but really think about what people need. What kind of uplifting and support can they use right now, and just put more thought into it.
Well, I think so often we get all caught up with the hubbub of the holidays, and you go to the store and, well, I got to get something for, Joe, and something for Jane, and then I get, okay, this is for him, and it puts too much stress into the whole thing instead of the love and compassion that is supposed to be there to begin with.
And I know people say, I just don't have time to do all that stuff, and I'm going, they take time for shopping.
Right.
So why not take time to create? And maybe might take a little bit of time to just, a little bit of thought and creation to put these things together. But I found that you are happier when you really use this approach. And Christmas is so much more enjoyable. I have found overall, just looking at these 4 points, just filling your heart with gratitude, focusing on Christ, find ways to serve other people, and then create genuine gifts from your heart. To me, that's just really what Christmas is all about.
And you're willing to give people some ideas. All you have to do is email you, and you can give them a few ideas of things that they can do.
Yeah, I have a whole several pages of ideas that people can do that are homemade, simple things that you can put together.
And you're not spending
Inexpensive,
the farm on it.
Now, we're very inexpensive, and again, there's something that's going to support good immunity, going to support uplifting your mood and calming the stress. And to me, that's what we all want. So why not, be more focused on that?
I think that makes perfect sense. Well, there's a lot of different things. Now, I know we're going to head back into the kitchen here pretty soon, and you're talking there about things that can be made food-wise for you
Yes.
to get, which is one of my favorite topics. And give us a little bit, for people who are listening on the radio only, give them a little bit of a preview of what they can expect if they watch the second half hour on Facebook Live.
Okay. First of all, I have some bites or drops that, to me, it's just fun to kind of stir something together and roll it into
Right.
little bite-sized pieces. And they're fun for parties, they're fun for gifts, and there's things, I like the essential oils in there because they build immunity. For instance, our cinnamon, our clove, and ginger, wild orange, these are really good for immune boosting. And if you have pure essential oils, which is all I ever use, they really do boost your immune system. So these are fun things that you can roll together. I have some cookies that are actually there without sugar and actually without grain flour for so many people that have allergies and gut and gluten allergies. These are really tasty.
And I'm a bit of a foodie. Spent quite a few years in the restaurant business, and I like to cook. And since talking with you here months ago, I started playing with the essential oils in cooking, and I'm amazed at how well that really works. And it's so simple, yet good for you, and it tastes good. But a great way to put a little extra zip into something you're working on, or whatever, just a change of pace. I love it myself.
Absolutely, and it really starts with getting good, pure, therapeutic essential oils.
Right.
Because our essential oils have to be pure. There's so many on the market that are just full of chemicals, they're adulterated, they're not pure, and you definitely don't want to use them internally. So you have to make sure that you get the right kind.
So not all essential oils can be ingested. Some might be topical and be okay, but the really good essential oils for ingesting,
right.
Do your homework, make sure you get the right
And
stuff.
I feel even for topical and aromatic use, you still want pure essential oils because, like I said, there's a lot of chemicals, a lot of adulterations out there. Most of them are. And so you want to make sure you only get the pure, tested, grade essential oils that are therapeutic and can really provide you those benefits, because there's one thing flavor, but there's really benefits that are involved in a good pure essential oil.
And likewise, if people want to know more about that, they can email you for that too, right?
Please, and my email is ask@erlenetilton.com, and my name is ERLEENTILTON and then .com. So ask@erlenetilton.com, and you can find out more information about the oils as well as get the recipes. And I can share more of that.
All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to, on the radio here, we're going to get you back to more of your favorite music. We've got some tunes coming up from Van Halen, Sting, Gary Wright, and Three Dog Night. But if you're interested in finding out more about what we're talking about, the secrets of healthy, happy people, then join us on Facebook Live for another half hour with Erlene as we head back into the K-Room kitchen. Right now it's 28 minutes past the hour. More to come. Stick with us.
With this morning's K-Room weather forecast for Payson and surrounding areas, I'm now meteorologist Scott Roberts. 30% chance for showers starts about midday and picks up in coverage and intensity by evening. High this afternoon at 53. Overnight look for rain to change to snow, particularly in higher elevations. In Payson, less than an inch of snow expected. It'll be quite
That's okay, I can babble while she does her honey.
All right.
All right, you want to screw that on?
Well, welcome to the second half hour, and we're talking about the secrets of healthy, happy people, and now we're in the kitchen here at the K-Room Studios on West Frontier. And Erlene, you know, this is what I love about your visit every month, is you bring interesting stuff. And today it looks like really interesting stuff because it looks like candy and cookies and yum.
Well, I really tried to focus this segment on parties and gift ideas.
Huh.
So there's tons of things that you can do, and I have tons of recipes that are in my handout that I can share with you, but I thought I would just kind of share a few things. And like I said, I really start with my essential oils. I like to make sure that I have pure, tested essential oils that are good for being able to add to our recipes, and we're going to talk about that in in a minute, and you can kind of see how these can really benefit you. So,
And until technology comes up with smell-o-vision, you're going to have to just trust me. This place smells great this morning.
okay. So this is kind of an hors d'oeuvre. These are called baked hemp bites, and so you have to try the hemp bites and this is actually a dip if you want to kind of just taste a little bit.
I've been accused of being that before.
Yeah. So the dip is really good in that as well.
So what's in the dip?
So the dip is an almond dip, and it actually has black pepper, coriander, and thyme in it, or actually just the black pepper and thyme. Sorry, black pepper and coriander in the dip, but it has black pepper, coriander, and thyme in the hemp bites.
Okay.
So the hemp bites, everybody's afraid of the THC and the hemp, and no, you're really not going to do
this
that.
is great.
But
Not like that at all.
the hemp seed is full of protein, full of iron, fiber, good nutrition, and it's a very, very good
Wow.
protein
That's really
for
good.
you. And yeah, it is. And so it's kind of fun to make these. Like I said, they're a great hors d'oeuvre at a party. And I think people really enjoy the protein and just the tastiness of it. And like I said, that has the thyme, the coriander, and black pepper. And by the way, those 3 essential oils are really good immune booster. Thyme is just off the charts for good immunity. Coriander, black pepper is really good for digestion and immune boosting as well. So you can't go wrong with those. And they're great to serve. They're great for just a dinner for kids as snacks. Super simple to make. Just stirring them up and putting them in the oven. And kids love them. Adults love them. So
They're round lightly and
yeah.
it tastes. They're really kind of a savory flavor.
Yeah.
I like it.
So that's one that I
How long
really
would you
enjoy.
take? Would you, excuse me. How long would you guess it takes to put together a batch of that?
Oh, probably 5-8 minutes.
Oh, that long.
That long. Oh, actually, just stirring it together. What I do is I just drop it with I have a little ice cream scoop.
Right.
Drop it on there, but then I kind of just roll them out just a tiny bit to smooth them over. But it really, 8 to 10 minutes maybe.
It's really
Get
good.
them in the oven, 12 to 15 minutes.
And you're right. That would make a great appetizer because it is kind of a, rather than a dessert item, it's more of a savory sort of
Yeah.
thing. But it's really
Like
tasty.
your veggies and,
Yeah.
veggie dips and that. And I could have had veggies too. I love the veggies with the almond dip. So your
That almond
carrots,
dip is really
celeries,
good.
and very
Now,
tasty.
If we email you, can we get the almond dip recipe?
Yes, that is with there. So
You're missing out if you don't do this. Okay.
make sure to do that. So another savory item that I love at Christmas time, I always try to serve this with a spoon, and this is the brain boosting nuts. And I think you've tried this before, but you'll have to try. So
But my brain needs more boosting.
all of our brains need boosting, especially at Christmas time. So it has 4 essential oils in it:
Oh.
frankincense, bergamot, rosemary, and copaiba. All of these are really good for brain support. So good for memory, good for focus. And to me, it just keeps your mental capacity sharp.
Huh.
And we all want to keep our brains sharp.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
these are kind of tasty, aren't they?
Not kind of. They're very tasty.
They're really a great nut snack. I always serve them with these little cups, kind of buy them so that people are much less apt to kind of pick,
If you're just working the
Yeah,
shops.
and it's kind of a fun little way to serve the nuts, and everybody loves them. Everybody that I've served these with just really
Pistachios
love them. Actually, these have walnuts, pistachios, and the pumpkin seeds. But you can do a variety of nuts. You could do almonds. You could do others. So yeah,
Or I can do another
enjoy
shot.
that. Yes, absolutely, because they're really good and good for you, good for brain boosting. And so I actually put the olive oil and the essential oils in there, and they're kind of a little greasy, so I throw in a little bit of almond flour, and that kind of soaks up all the oil, and it's really tasty.
Now, excuse me, as far as our viewers go, it's important for you to note that If anything at any time that Arlene brings in tastes like crud, I'll let you know. So far, it hasn't happened.
Okay.
But we're not done yet.
We're not done yet. Okay, so these are cookies that are actually, well, I have the chocolate mint and the ginger. So here's a ginger cookie, and here this is more of the mint. And they are actually, I've had them in the refrigerator, so you'll know that. But they're very tasty. They're just with almond flour. They're not, there's no grain flour at all. So they are a perfectly good keto or paleo cookie, but also good for people that maybe have grain and gut, you know.
And a lot of us might not
intolerances.
realize that we do have those kind of problems,
Yes.
and what a difference it'll make if you get away from it.
So really going to a cookie now that is grain free, but sugar free too, because it has the monk fruit sweetener, and the monk fruit sweetener actually is a no calorie, no carb, no glycemic, and so it's great to be able to have a cookie that you feel like is good protein, none of the bad stuff, all of the good stuff.
And it
And so
tastes
I love
really
that.
good. I mean,
Okay,
it
good.
tastes sinful enough,
Yeah,
but it's not. I like
yeah.
that.
So great. And then I have different kinds of bites and tasters, like I said, that are kind of fun to serve at parties or even give as gifts. And just a goodie plate with some of these items rather than all the traditional store stuff would be fun. So what I have here is, these are another hemp seed ball, but it has actually several nuts. It has the sunflower seeds, the pumpkin seeds, the hemp, all kind of mixed together, lightly sweetened with the monk fruit sweetening. And that's really a tasty one. Now these are kind of like your peanut butter cups. Now I've enjoyed over the years kind of getting some of these silicone molds and making some little treats that resemble kind of a peanut butter cup. However, I'm not a fan of peanut butter simply because there's so many peanut allergies due to the molds in peanuts. Now, even if you buy organic peanut butter, there's still mold, and that's because peanuts grow underground. So if you can substitute raw almond butter and sunflower butter, I found that the mix together half and half really more resembles the peanut butter.
Wow.
So I like those together, so you'll have to.
And with these molds that you use,
Yeah.
I mean, even these little heart things you have over here, I mean, that's a good looking.
Yeah,
It's got
it's
good
a
plate
nice looking
presentation.
one. So that's more the peanut butter one. This one is more the orange cream. And
There's not peanut butter in that?
there's no peanut butter.
That's amazing.
And it also
Good.
has the essential oils. I add a little bit of wild orange and ginger to them. And the wild orange, ginger, cinnamon, and clove are, again, something that we see a lot at Christmas time, and peppermint, because they're really good for immune boosting. And so these are other essential oils that you can add to these. Now these are the peppermint protein drops. These are the orange creams, which have a little bit of cream cheese in the middle. And so they're kind of, anyway, they're all good, they're tasty, they're fun to take to parties. And again, it's all about immune boosting, good protein, good fats. And those are what we want, really.
Well, I mean, usually in the holidays, you know, we sit down at the dinner table and we give thanks, and then some, you know, candies and stuff like that come out, and you feel like you should pray for forgiveness, but you don't have to with this.
No,
Now,
actually.
and you said this has got cream cheese in the middle of it.
Yes, and those are the orange creams.
I don't know how
so,
well you can see that, but I mean, it's it's got great eye appeal and everything.
Yeah,
And
these little hearts. Yeah. So these are kind of fun to
good
do.
tongue appeal too.
Yeah.
Really good.
The cream cheese, you like that? So there's a couple of other things. Whoops, I've really overdone it there. So I wanted you to taste this. This is kind of what I call immunity cup, and I put some. It's just honey, but it has the essential oils. A lot of your citrus oils, but also your ginger, cinnamon, and clove in there. So I'm not sure that you'll be able to get a real good feel of how this tastes. Hopefully it's a little bit warm.
And you call this what again?
Immunity cup. And so
That's
instead of making a tea or coffee in the morning, you can just get a spoonful of this and put it in your hot water, And it has the cinnamon, the clove, the wild
Smells
orange,
great.
lime, and lemon.
Wow.
So all good for immune boosting. And like I said,
And it's tasty.
it's tasty, and it's a great thing. You don't have to do anything but get your hot water and add this to it. So that's a fun thing that you could give to people too, because again, you're building immunity. Everybody likes honey, so you add your essential oils to it, and it's just nice to give as a gift. So this is a great gift to give. So I talked a little bit about on the radio. We talked about the bath salts. This is a Serenity bath salt. Really good for calming, distressing at the end of the day. But I also have a detox bath salt that it's really good for detox. And if you start to feel like you're getting sick, get in that bath with that detox bath salt. And it even if it doesn't keep you from completely getting sick, it will help speed up the process if you do detoxes. And so a bath is a great detox. People say, well, I don't have a really good bathtub to be able to do that. Well, you could always do a foot soak, and it's not as enjoyable, but it's quite nice as well.
So you make your own bath salts?
Just basically Epsom salts, and then you add your essential oils there. The Epsom salts really is great by itself, but the essential oils just actually accelerate the action.
Wow.
And the detox benefits and the calming benefits. So that's why I like adding the essential oils to it. So here's that mood and body oil. So let me just squirt this on your hand, and you can kind of.
Now you were talking on the radio about
just rub it around.
doing this as a gift, and you put a bottle of this on your sink.
Bathroom sink, and just
Wow.
rub it around. It's really good and nourishing to your hands, but it's also really mood and emotional balancing.
If you can balance my emotions, you're in good shape. But no, that my skin, especially this time of year, it's so dry and everything.
It gets so dry. I think everybody.
Yeah, to have something like that just next, like you said, to the bathroom sink, where after you get done washing your hands, put a little bit of this on. That makes great sense.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah, it smells good.
It smells good, and I think that there's a lot of great benefits by just having this by your sink. Room spritzers. I mean, this one is holiday fur, so I'll try to do it back so that you're not necessarily.
Wow.
This is a fir. It's got wild orange, but it's also got one of my favorite oils, Douglas fir.
A Douglas fir essential oil.
Yes. Oh
Who
my
knew?
gosh, I just love this oil. It is just heavenly for me.
Wow. And now, is that more, are the benefits
so
from this
awesome.
more on the aromatic side than anything
Actually,
else?
it's really good for mood and for uplifting the mood for
Right.
people that are stressed and people that have depression or any depression, anxiety. It's very mood balancing. That's what I love about our essential oils. They can lift your mood, but actually lower your stress. So
Oh.
it's having these room sprays are really great. Or diffusing them, but you can see that kind of the same oils in the diffuser would be great as well.
Well, and you talk about doing like this here. You talk about doing it as a gift. So you mix this stuff up yourself, and then you can buy little empty bottles like
Yeah.
this.
They're easy to find.
Huh.
I think you could find some at Back to Basics here locally, or go online.
And then you even do up your
one
own little
ounce.
labels and everything.
Yeah, labels are easy to make too. So simple. You go to avery.com and you buy the right labels and put them in there, and it's super simple.
Cool.
Super simple. I was afraid at first. It's like, oh no, new technique, I have to learn, but oh my gosh, it was easy. So, there's roll-ons. I call this sleep tight and this pain be gone. And, again, look at the needs that people have. And this is one of my favorite perfumes. You're a guy, so I don't know, you may not be head over heels over this, but it's a very nice,
What is
it's Douglas fir, wild orange, and magnolia. So it's a fir, fruit, and a flower.
Wow.
And everyone that I've shared this with, women love, love, love this. So there's just many things that you can create. And again, just for pennies or just a few dollars, versus, a lot of the money that people spend on gifts. So
That's amazing. And again, for your holiday table, to be able to have some of these treats out, I mean, visually it makes a great presentation, but good palette presentation too. Good stuff. You're going to like it.
Well, the thing that I like to encourage people to do is, again, think about being the solution not adding to the problem, because the problem is all the money spent and all the junk that is out there. Instead of doing that, really create gifts from your heart and think of what the needs of people or your friends around you have, and then just go to work to create a few things, and don't stress out over it.
And now, if people want to get any of these recipes, again, how do they do that?
You can email me at ask@erleentilton.com, and that's ERLEENTILTON.com. So ask@erleentilton.com.
And lots of great recipes, great ideas for other gift ideas and things like that. You've got all kinds of information for people. So send her an email, and man, I don't know how you're going to top every month. I'm wondering how you're going to top last month, and you've done it yet again. Good stuff.
Good.
Well, thanks for joining us today, and we'll be with you again next month for Secrets of Healthy, Happy People with Erleen Tilton.